So good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for your patience. I just want to welcome everybody to Eager Park this morning on this celebration of progress in Eager Park. My name is Cheryl Washington. I'm the president and CEO of East Baltimore Development Incorporated, also known as EBDI. And it is wonderful to see you all here today as we are celebrating a milestone demolition project. And in the coming months, we are going to be removing 26 vacant homes and dilapidated properties along Chase and Biddle Streets to make way for more mixed income housing. This is definitely a cause for celebration. These, that's right. These 26 properties represent the last remaining blight in the northwest area of Eager Park. The fact that we have just one more demolition project to do in the southeast portion of Eager Park, right at Ashland and Madison Avenue, and that will remove all of the remaining blight in Eager Park. Just last month, I'm excited that we just celebrated the groundbreaking of the new Henderson Crossings residential development, which is also in the southeast area of of Eager Park. And we have plans underway for our next commercial building. We are actively working for more retail to bring amenities to the community. And so what does this all mean? The fact that we are so close to demolishing all the remaining blight in Eager Park while simultaneously breaking ground on new projects means we are even closer to accomplishing the original vision for the project while remaining true to our core values. We are on track for ensuring 1/3 of all the housing that we develop here are affordable. We are on track for ensuring East Baltimore and Baltimore City residents get jobs, both construction and permanent jobs. We are on track for providing opportunities for local, minority, and women-owned businesses to get contracting opportunities. And most importantly, we are making good on the promise we made to our relocated residents by putting resources and mechanisms in place to help them return to Eager Park if they choose. We are laying out a blueprint for a dynamic neighborhood that reflects the wants and the needs of the community and are fast becoming the model for responsible redevelopment. Eager Park and EBDI have come a long, long way, and with your continued partnership, we can take it even further. This morning, you will hear from several of our great partners and supporters, but I did want to take just a moment to acknowledge a few others who have been instrumental in supporting EBDI's efforts with this project. First, we have our EBDI board. There are several people here, particularly Jean Hitchcock, who is the chair of our board, and I know she's around somewhere. Right here, fantastic. I love it. We also have the EBDI staff, who are fantastic. You saw them at the front desk. Karen's right there, and Al Barney. I also want to thank the team at Carter Site Services, who's our local minority-owned demolition contractor. They are around out back. And then I want to thank Brookfield Properties, our master developer, who's been working on a lot of our commercial buildings, and members of the Eager Park Neighborhood Association, who are also around. I want to take a time just to acknowledge Cedric Bobo and the Project Destined team, who are also here with some of their students from Dunbar. We are so excited that we are partnering with Project Destined, who is training our youth, Dunbar High students, how to do real estate development and community development. EBDI believes that by sowing seed into these youth today, we are creating leaders and our community developers for tomorrow. So we are so excited about that. It's all about the youth. So at this time, I would like to introduce Lieutenant Governor Boyd Rutherford, who we are honored to have him on our board of directors here, and we are so excited to have him here today as the state of Maryland has been an irreplaceable partner of ours over the years. Lieutenant Governor.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you for that introduction. It is great to be here this morning, and I want to thank everyone who's been involved with East Baltimore Development, Inc. for not only having me here this morning, but for all the work that you've done to revitalize this particular area, improve the lives of the citizens here. This Northwest demolition project represents the positive change that can occur when you have targeted investment and planning in a community that needed that type of investment. Our administration, the Hogan-Rutherford administration, is proud of the fact that we've been able to support this project and others throughout the city through the governor's Project Core initiative. And for those of you who are not aware of what Project CORE is, it stands for Creating Opportunities for Renewal and Enterprise. A Project CORE award of $500,000 in fiscal year 2018 was specifically targeted to this project. And the project and others like it is part of our Department of Housing and Community Development's investments of over $4.3 million over the last 4 years in this initiative. And that's part of the $18.4 million that the state, that our administration has put into EBDI over the last 4.5 years. By clearing out these lots and providing areas with market as well as affordable townhouses, the Northwest Development Project will positively impact the revitalization of East Baltimore and enhance the value of the adjacent communities and lay a foundation for future development and attracting additional investment and development. Again, I'd like to thank EBDI for their work in bringing this much needed positive change to this area. I look forward to continuing to work with EBDI and the community as we move forward. Thank you again.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor, and I just want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you have to leave to other commitments. As you all know, the City of Baltimore has been a valuable supporter of EBDI. Particularly Mayor Jack Young has been a tremendous champion of our efforts and also keeps us grounded and focused on the people, which is what it's all about. We are thrilled to celebrate today's achievement with Mayor Young, who will give brief remarks. Mayor Young?
I told her mine not going to be brief because hers wasn't brief. First of all, I would like to, is it 12 yet? No. Say good afternoon to everyone and thank Cheryl for that introduction. The Lieutenant Governor just left. Want to recognize Secretary Holt from the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development, Todd Scott, Delegate Thomas Branch, and our new Baltimore City Delegation Chair, Delegate Stephanie Smith. Will you stand so they can see who you are? She's the new chair of the Baltimore City Delegation in Annapolis. Our Comptroller, Joan Pratt, Councilman Robert Stokes, and Cheryl Washington, President and CEO of EBDI. It's a great day for East Baltimore, y'all. These type of projects my administration will always support. First, again, thank you to Governor Hogan, Lieutenant Governor Rutherford, and Secretary Holt for supporting this project with core grant funds that will remove the remaining blight, not only from this site, but the northwest area of Eagle Park as well. Congratulations to Cheryl and the EBDI team, the board led by Jean Hitchcock. I just want to point out that Jean lost her mom, and Jean is going through some things, so I'm asking that you keep her in your prayers, because most people know when you lose your mom, it's different from losing a dad. It's something about the mom. So Jean, we're going to be keeping you in our prayers, okay? Okay, and I want to reaffirm my full support for your efforts as you continue to transform Middle East into the vibrant neighborhood now called Eagle Park. I was born and raised on Eagle Street, 1644 East Eagle Street, okay? The demolition project will make way for more mixed income housing. Eagle Park is fast becoming a neighborhood of choice, as evidenced by how quickly the houses are going under contract and selling. Ryan Homes has a project right across the street, and 28 of those 34 homes under construction are already under contract. Telling Robert Stokes to get one. EBDI is well underway to meet its goal of development 1/3 of all of its housing to be affordable, which will create a real opportunity for relocated residents if they choose to return. This project is also furthering EBDI's goal related to economic inclusion and local hiring, which is very, very important to me. Carter Site Service is a local minority-owned business is the demolition contractor on this project. Again, I want to congratulate EBDI and its team for a job well done. Thank you. Oh, I want to recognize Carolyn Moselle, who is representing our Department of Housing and Community Development, as well as my Deputy Chief of Staff. So again, congratulations and thank you.
so much. And I do also want to just thank everybody in the mayor's office, because they are a great partner of ours. Every agency, I think we call on them from time to time. So we are also very grateful for all of the support from the state of Maryland, especially the Department of Housing and Community Development, which has been an invaluable partner to EBDI in our quest to demolish the blight in the project area. Ken Holt, the Secretary of the Housing and Community Development Agency, will share a few words.
Good morning. On behalf of Governor Hogan, I bring greetings and congratulations. I usually also bring greetings from the Lieutenant Governor, but I'm pleased that he was here. I think the beauty of this project is that it has sown a seed that is spawning tremendous growth in this neighborhood. If you look at Broadway East, on the other side of the railroad tracks here, the redevelopment of the Hone building, the food hub, the Mary Harvin Center, Southern Horizon, Southern Views, there is significant change underway here that is dramatically improving the quality of life for all of residents. And so the little bit of money, and when I say little bit of money, there's been over $1.8 billion invested in this particular project here. But from the state's perspective, it is so essential for us to contribute meaningfully to both demolish the vacants as well as redevelop, bring in new high quality housing. And the progress is just astounding. The park, that's going to be a central feature and for all of the folks living in this neighborhood to enjoy recreation and the pleasures of this community. So I offer you my congratulations and my deepest thanks, and I can tell you that this 88-acre tract is mushrooming to envelop hundreds of acres in the east side of Baltimore, all of which will be renewed and offer significant quality of life to everyone who lives here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Secretary Holt. Appreciate those kind words. Throughout the years, the state delegation for the 45th District has shown strong support for Eager Park and the continued revitalization of East Baltimore. In particular, Senator Corey McCray is a key champion of this neighborhood, and I'm glad he's here this morning to offer a few words. Senator McCray, right on time.
How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? First, I just wanted to say that I'm honored to be, I caught the LG when he was walking out, Lieutenant Governor. Right here with my mayor, our comptroller, our councilperson, and this phenomenal delegation, the 45th District delegation, Delegate Talmadge Branch, Delegate Stephanie Smith. And I would be remiss if I wouldn't recognize Secretary Holt, Carol Gilbert, and the work that they're doing, Todd, the work that they're doing from DHCD each and every day. So many projects within the 45th Legislative District. So we're humbled, we're thankful, and that we're actually moving forward. But when we think about the 88-acre project, we think about the park. We think about the school, we think about the hotel, we think about the small businesses that's happening right here, Cheryl, and all the work that's been going on preceding myself, but also just making sure that we keep that going for this next generation, which is so, so, so important. So I'm not going to keep going and reiterating everything that everybody else said, but I would like to say as I stand here on a Monday morning, early on a Monday morning, that we're all very thankful for the progress that's being made in East Baltimore, and we look forward to that continued growth. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator McCray. Also from the 45th District, I am delighted to have our friends, Delegates Talmadge Branch and Delegate Stephanie Smith to the podium to give a few remarks. They have been true ambassadors for Eager Park in Annapolis, and so I'm so thankful for them.
Thank you, Cheryl. I don't want to reiterate everything everyone has said already, but let me just thank EBDI for all that it has done in developing this 88 acres. I remember when it was just all blight and we needed to clear it off for the development of the park and the development of the projects alike. So it is amazing. I live one block across the street. Myself, just like Jack, grew up in this neighborhood, attended the same elementary school, which is 1 block away. But it's great to see the blight on this street go away. It's amazing to see the work that they've done in terms of creating this puzzle, and the puzzle today is looking wonderful. So this is going to be a remarkable 88 acres when it's completed, but this piece of the puzzle here will certainly make this corner of the project, or of the 88 acres, fantastic for someone to live. So again, I'm just here to say thank you for all that you've done, and to keep on developing the way that you're developing, and we will continue to support you in any way that we possibly can. Thank you.
Good morning. Great. This is a real exciting day, and it made me think about, I guess, almost 3 years ago. I live a block over on Washington Street between Eager and Chase, and I was looking at a shell of a home. I was looking at a home that had been abandoned and vacant for over 25 years. And yet, my husband and I had a vision for that home, but what really encouraged us was that there were dozens of abandoned homes behind our home that were slated to be demoed. That was the encouragement we needed to progress, to purchase our home, to redevelop that home, and now our block has no vacant homes on it. But every time we get rid of blight, that's a little more encouragement that people can see the dreams that were birthed over a dozen years ago coming into reality, because it shows the progress that we're making here. But I want to lift up, yes, there are some things that are beyond repair. We need to get rid of them because they are eyesores. But there are things within this 88-acre project we've been able to retain, because I do live in a 100-year-old home right here in Eager Park. So I wanted to lift that up as well, because sometimes we think we're only getting rid of the old. No, we're salvaging what makes sense, and then we're also getting rid of blight so that people can play in this park and not have to look at that while they're here with their children. I was in this park on this really strangely warm weekend with my son, and I knew that was coming down, but it hasn't stopped people from living their lives in the park, from walking their dogs, picking up after their dogs, I hope, and just really making a life here. So I just want to give a special thanks again to the leadership from EBDI, from the state and from the city, and all the great partners that have been mentioned before, because we are not just beginning to live in Eager Park, we are continuing to live in Eager Park, and I just see a lot of bright things in our future. So thanks to everyone who's assembled. This is a great day.
Thank you, Delegate Smith and Delegate Branch. I was just in here having a couple of words with the mayor, and I just wanted to, he wanted to highlight, and I think it's important to know that Eager Park, at one point in time, Middle East community, was a very vibrant community. It was full of lots of working people, lots of small businesses were here. So what we're trying to do is actually bring it back to its vibrancy and make it be a welcoming place for all types of people. So Mayor Young, that's a very good point to make. I would now like to invite to the podium our Comptroller, Joan Pratt. Comptroller Pratt is a true advocate for the community and has been a great advocate for EBDI, and I thank her so much for everything.
Good morning, Lieutenant Governor Rutherford, Senator McCray, Mayor Young, Delegate Smith, Delegate Branch, fellow elected officials, friends, and guests. I'm excited to see the hard work of so many people committed to transforming this neighborhood. It is an outstanding example of a united Baltimore dedicated to making this city more beautiful. The effort to eliminate blight and remove vacant spaces highlights our shared desire to grow Baltimore and to provide our citizens with a much-needed transformation. The City of Baltimore and its residents are truly grateful to HCD and EBDI and their continued partnership, support, and leadership. They have a sincere and vested interest in creating flourishing neighborhoods that not only bring a sense of community pride, but also attracts development, stimulates revitalization, and encourages growth. This would not be possible without the support and help of many people like Councilman Stokes, Secretary Ken Holt, Cheryl Washington, Gene Hitchcock, and Todd Scott, who have been leading voices of change here in Eager Park and the surrounding area. Thank you for all that you do. I am sure that this demolition project is the beginning of a future where business, government, and community relationships will foster economic growth, building a more thriving and prosperous city for all of us. Thank you, and may God bless our efforts as we continue to rebuild and invest in our great city. Thank you.
Me again. I'll be remiss if I did not acknowledge Councilman Leon Pinkett, who was sitting there, I just forgot, who has been very instrumental with his role on BDC at the time when we needed help. So, Councilman, thank you, and welcome to East Baltimore.
We had to do that, Leon. Absolutely. So our next speaker represents our great 12th district of Baltimore City, and he has been a true advocate for Eager Park and for the community here. He's been an engaged and committed partner, and so I'm so happy to have Councilman Stokes come up and give a few words.
Good morning, but I want to thank God for being here today. I'm honored to be here today with you to experience the continued progress in Eager Park. As you can see from the speakers list, there are a lot of people to thank for making this project happen. To all the state and local officials, I thank you also. Cheryl Washington and her entire team at EBDI, thank you. But most of all, I thank the residents, those who stuck it out and those who left but wish us well. 20 years ago, we could have not imagined what we see here today. Demoing these 26 vacant buildings is not just a physical act, but it's a symbolic removal of the heartbreaking neglect and decay a community suffered through decades. I always tell the story of growing up in the 1700 block of East Preston Street when we had Heinz Bakery, Glad the Shoe Shop, some other locations there. But I grew up there because I always watched what's happening here, and I'm proud to be from East Baltimore. I'm proud to be part of the rebuilding efforts underway. Let's celebrate as we move closer to the blight in East Baltimore and closer to providing the residents with a neighborhood they deserve and a community they can be proud of. And representing this district and living in this district, I watch how it changed and I watch the progress. So I will always be a supporter of what's happening in this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Stokes. So we just have one more speaker this morning, but before I introduce him, I wanted to say that we are standing on the shoulders of giants. I had to just give a moment to say thank you to the late Congressman Elijah Cummings, who was a great supporter of this project, absolutely. He was just at our ribbon cutting for the Fulton Bank, and whenever he had a chance, he came. So I so appreciate him. And I also want to thank the work of Senator Nathaniel McFadden, who also was a great supporter of EBDI. So I had to make sure that we stand on the shoulders of giants, everybody. So we have one more speaker, Todd Scott, and he wears so many hats. He is an Eager Park resident, delighted to have him here. He also is an EBDI board member, and he also is a member of the leadership team of the Eager Park Neighborhood Association, and that's just what he does in his spare time. He also works full-time at Department of Housing and Community Development, so we're just delighted to have him here.
Good morning, Mayor Young, Delegate Branch, Senator McCray, City Councilman Stokes, Controller Joan Pratt, Delegate Smith, and Secretary Holt. The EBDI team, led by Cheryl Washington, is working diligently to continue making this a gratifying community. Today's event is so special. Why? Because people need to hear positive stories about this area and positive stories about East Baltimore. And I'm so excited and happy to see this face in the front row, Miss Catherine Harris, who knows East Baltimore very well. And I'm taken back just a second because she reminds me so much. It's like my second mom. So I'm so excited to see you here this morning. But it's good because people like Ms. Harris need to know that this city is moving forward. This event represents partnerships. Secretary Holt, like I stated before, DHCD's hands is in a lot of projects surrounding this area here. The food hub, as he mentioned, Hohen lithograph building. When you look out and see affordable housing, Chapel Green for families, Ashland Commons for families, affordable housing for families and for seniors. And we have market rate housing here as well. This is community. It's major development taking place here. There are businesses here. There's the Marriott. And of course, there's my favorite, Starbucks. Let's look at and think about the residents, which makes the community. There are legacy residents that are not here today, but I speak to them on an ongoing basis. Miss Pamela Jordan, who grew up on the 1800 block of Chase Street, which would have been right out here. Lisa Francis is another legacy resident who also grew up in this area on Ashland. We also have Johnny Coleman, who was on the Eagle Park neighborhood leadership team, who's also a legacy resident. And then we have new residents like Alan and Julia and others that are here today. And we also have returning residents like myself, who left here 30 years ago. I grew up in 1022 Webb Court and Latrobe Homes housing projects, but I'm back, and I love being back right here in this community. Speaking of neighborhood associations, I want to say thank you to the ones that are working so hard to keep this area vibrant and move this area forward. So we thank you for all the work you're doing, Alan, and the work that Matt's doing and Julia's doing, and also some of the legacy residents that are also members of this neighborhood association. These partnerships are inclusive, and we need that. As residents of this community, we must do more. We must be diligent. We must encourage others, like Councilman Stokes does on an ongoing basis. When I see him walking the streets, he'll stop and give kids time out of his day and ask them questions and try to put them in the right direction. And you too, Mayor Young, I see you all the time walking the streets. We need that. We need to give these youth time. So I'm so glad I have one of my mentees here, actually two of them here. I saw a Kyle earlier, and I hope that I can give them all the things that were given to me as I grew up in the Latrobe Homes projects. So I'm hopeful that we can keep this thing going. So Cheryl and the entire EBDI team, keep building this community. It's appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Todd. And with that, I did want to acknowledge we do have some other legacy families. I had to say hi to Mr. Livingston here, taking pictures as always. Tim Parrish, I saw him in the back. So we are just so delighted to have a blending of the legacy families who were here and new families coming in. At this time, I just want to thank all of our speakers for coming out today, and I want to thank you especially for coming out to celebrate with us. At this time, we are actually going to have Mayor Young, along with one of the Carter guys, to help man the excavator for a photo op. And then we're going to have all the speakers at the shovels and the hard hats on the side for a picture. And with that,